Hello my acolytes. I thought for August edition I'd list off some of my most memorable experiences with the orgonometer. We'll start all the way back at the beginning, and then provide an update on the Cloudbuster. In summer of 2020, when I was bored to extremity for obvious reasons, I saw this video, and it led me down the path that I've been on ever since. The first orgonometer I ever created with help from Big Al was literally held together by duct tape and didn't look impressive at all. I took it to a then friend of mine's house who was suffering from post-vasectomy pain disorder. For those of you who don't know, that is what occurs in rare circumstances where, during a vasectomy, something goes wrong and the pain feels like it's there all day, every day. Strongly recommend that you do your research before getting one. He told me that his pain was relieved completely by the orgonometer, which I didn't believe. I didn't believe him at first, but he had to be telling the truth because he's not a very good actor, so if he wanted to deceive me, he couldn't. I got quite excited and gave it to other people as well. I gave it to a florist who works up the road. The pain in both of her feet was bad, but in the first one it went away a little, and in the second it went away a lot. I gave it to a record store owner up the road. He told me that his arthritic pain faded. I gave it to two girls with juvenile arthritis. They told me their pain faded. I gave it to a man with a broken foot, and he told me that the pain had stopped. He was very excited, and so was I. The reason I take orgonomics so seriously is, well, it gave me something to exist for and a reason to keep going in extremely dark times. 2023 was an abysmal year for me, and if not for orgonomics, I don't know what I would have ended up doing. Well, I have a pretty clear idea, actually. I even gave it to a female friend of mine who told me that it stopped period pain, and at that point I realised, okay, I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life to this. As for what it meant to me, yeah, it gave me a sense of purpose and belonging that I've never had elsewhere. I don't really know how to describe it because talking about this stuff does not come naturally to me, but it feels right to share it. There was also an incident in 2022 when I can't really describe it at all. There's no way. There's no way. It's just too graphic. But I'm very glad I got to give that person the instruction to create their own orgonometer. I'm also reminded of a particularly dark experience in my life when I was 23. I felt extremely low after three people I considered my friends showed me that they'd rather be close with an ugly, dumb, sympathising, malicious coward. And at that point, I didn't see much reason to carry on with how bad I was feeling. However, I spoke to somebody who had benefited from the orgonometer. She was able to cheer me back up. And I recall getting a message off a friend of mine who said that in his home country in Pakistan he had followed the instructions to create one, given it to his grandmother, and she'd gotten over her leg pain, with it having left her. That was enough to get me back up in spirits. It was a major turning point for my life at that stage, and just as well because it couldn't get much bleaker. So thank you to all of you who have followed our instructions and engaged with this channel. It does more for me than I can express. From there we released our documentary on the subject, which has received over 1,000 views since. We even got praise from countries such as Algeria, Canada, Israel, Poland, Ireland, the United States, far and wide really. Overall, my involvement with this device has been one of the best things I've ever done. It might be the best thing I've ever done. So thanks to all for making that possible. If you're open to it, I'd really love to hear your experiences with the Orgone accumulator and know if it's helped anyone. So please jump into the comments and share your experience, if any, with the orgonometer. It would mean the world to me knowing that people are getting better for it. I also thought it'd be good to give you an idea of what we're doing on our Cloudbuster based research. So now I'll share with you the good and the bad. The good news is, I have full faith that the Cloudbuster could work because we've seen its cousin, the orgonometer, working. In simple terms, it's a bit like saying that motor oil works inside of a car, therefore it will work inside of a motorbike. This has been my philosophy for a very long time, but the Cloudbuster is enormously more complicated. We can't assemble another Cloudbuster and spend £200 a try in trial and error. But we have a better idea. We thought to assemble orgonomic pyramids that could test for EMF reduction. So with help from Big Al, I've created one, and I'm sorry to say it didn't work on the first try. But take a look at this footage of someone else using theirs. That tells me that there is a formula to this, we just have to find it. Fortunately, I've recently started work with a science teacher who's going to help me through this, and I'd like to share a small thesis of mine. See, when Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison were locking horns, Thomas Edison's school of problem solving was to use a light bulb, see if it worked. If that didn't work, remove parts of it, send it back in, and continue doing that until it eventually took effect. That's considered the brute force method. However, in Tesla's case, he would very carefully understand every component that he was working with. Then, having completed his study, he would get things right on the first try. I'm not saying I can get this right on the first try, but I'd like for my school of problem solving to be much closer to Tesla's than Edison's any day. So we'll be carefully studying every component, including metal shavings, copper, quartz crystals, and the resin involved. We'll also be studying how EMF pollution works and can be detected. This could take a while, but it's a solid way forward to discern how exactly orgonomic devices reduce EMF pollution. And when the day comes that we have a working orgonite pyramid, we'll take the schematics and the method of operation for that and transfer it to a new Cloudbuster. In doing so, we'll finally be able to prove its effect. And don't worry, it'll be out for you to see when that time comes. Rest assured, we are trying our absolute hardest to get this working. I'm sorry that it takes so long, but you can't exactly rush weather control, it's not easy. Thanks again for staying with me all this time. I hope to give you the much sought after film of the Cloudbuster in action soon. I'm grateful for your watching. Would you consider racking up my watch hours by watching our Crybiosm movie? Or failing that, having a look at our suppressed medical technology iceberg? Both of them make for very interesting watches. And if there's something you'd like to see on this channel, please jump into the comments and say so. Thanks for watching.